this is boolean value true. If I pass false in it, it returns false, which is expected, right? In Python, these are not the only values that are true and false. So Python has a notion of what of truthy and falsy. So it's literally called truthy and falsy. So right. So some values in Python are truthy, other values in Python are falsy. What do I mean by that? So these literal values true and false are equal to their literal values, right? True is always true, false is false, right? But if you pass in a string a non-empty string, right? What does it evaluate to? Any guesses? Does it give me an error? Does it give false, true? Does my Jupyter notebook shut down? Any guesses? I would like to see a few guesses in the chat. I'm switching text. So Lalita says error. Ashutosh says true. Anyone else? The question is, if I pass a bool in a non-empty string, what would be the output? I'll wait for one more guess, and I'll just go back to the notebook and I'll just show what actually answers. Okay, eFDP Python is Session-3. Okay, false. Okay. Mixed answers there. Some say error and some say this might give true, false. Basics. Okay. So this will give true. The reason is because a non-empty string is considered as a truthy value. So I'll write it here. Non-empty string is considered truthy. What does it mean to be for a value to be considered truthy? What it means is, in Boolean context, wherever Boolean values are applicable, wherever true, false, wherever you can stuff true, false in Python, this value in Boolean context, sorry, this is context, this value would be as if you put true there. Okay, it will act as if you put true there, right? So it will act as if I put true here. Sorry. Right? What about this empty string? I guess might be because I've said non-empty string is considered truthy. What would the empty string consider? What would be the empty string be considered? It would be considered falsy. Right? This stumbles people a bit when they are new to Python, but like I said, if you use it enough, you start to make sense of it. Why was it designed this way? So no, it's not even about strings. We'll go to lists in a bit. So hello apples. This is a string. We haven't talked about. This is a list. Sorry, we haven't talked about lists yet, but similar logic applies to lists as well. Non-empty lists are considered truthy. Empty lists are considered falsy. Even general, a non-empty container, any container in Python, is considered truthy. An empty container, an empty data structure, is generally considered falsy. Okay, I'll write it here. It applies more generally. Okay, this truthy and falsy thing is more general than strings. It's more general than lists. All right. Okay. Any questions or till now? Any quick questions? We can take one or two. Let's switch it. Got it. True. True. Okay. Questions? No, I think. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the Boolean data type. So yeah, we've covered that it has two values, true and false. Other values active, they were true. Some other values active, they were false. This is called truthy and falsy. If you want to search for it, the term is truthy and falsy. Okay. Also, just before going forward, like in C, 0 is considered falsy. Okay. Any non-zero integer 1 is considered truthy. So that is why I said truthy falsy is more general than this strings. Right? I'll leave it at an empty string in the notebook. Right? It should come as false. Empty things are considered falsy. Okay, so comparison operators, right? So comparison operators are best shown in a REPL. That I mean this REPL. Alright, basic mathematics, right? Sorry. This operator, these operators, again, depends on the data type if you are allowed to use them. You can use them on ints, you can use them on floats. For complex numbers, less than and greater than and similar operators don't make sense because complex numbers are not ordered, and yeah, we will cover this is an in not in as well, right? So basic mathematics, right? 5 is greater than 6, it should come as false. So notice that these operators return Boolean values. Alright, they return true or false. So 5 is less than 6. Alright, that is correct, that is true. This operator equals, I mean, sorry for this operator equals, right? This is what is known as an equality check or an equality operator. It is different from an assignment operator. So x equals 5 and y equals 6. I can do that, it's perfectly fine. I showed assign a variable to an integer value. We did that earlier. X equals y. So sometimes this trips people up. People coming from C have a bad memory of mistaking this operator with the assignment operator. So keep that in mind, right? I think Python here it won't show an error, but if you do this, it's the wrong thing that you are doing. Instead, you wanted to check if x is equal to if x and y have the same value. Okay. So beware of this equals and equals Pandora's box. Pandora box now. So yeah, I like I said, 5 equals 6. That is obviously false. 5 greater than equals 6 is also false. Right? Think about it. Basic mathematics, basic inequalities. What you can do is 5 greater than equals 5. Right? If you've done a bit of inequalities, it will be true if either 5 is greater than 5 or 5 is equal to 5. The second case is true, so this is true. Okay. So similarly, these are the comparison operators. The important thing is they return Boolean values. Alright, this is an important thing to remember. They evaluate their operands. The values or variables that you pass on both sides of the operator, and then they return a boolean value, right? Whether it's equal, whether it's not equal, that sort of stuff. Alright. I missed the not equals here, so not equals is also not equals, right? Although I don't think we use not equals, right? Yeah, you can use it, I mean, it's there. So yeah, this is these are the comparison operators, and remember these return bool values. Okay. Next thing is the operator equals and is. So people frequently get confused between them. I'll show you an example why people get confused. A good example would be for lists, but let's cover lists first, and then we'll cover this is, in, and not in operators. Alright, they are also comparison operators, but for this in and not in we can cover for strings as well. So for HTML, in HTML, head, dot, closing HTML. So in operator checks for strings. In operator checks whether first string is part of a second string or not. Is it inside that second string? Okay, if you read it like this, is HTML in this string? The answer would be obviously true, and if I change it to be Ishan, the answer would be false, right? So this is also known as a substring check for strings. So again, like I said, these operators, they change their behavior depending on the data type that we use. Okay, so for strings, it is whether this string is a part of this string or not. Okay, so for example, to check if we have a file name, right? File name equals test.py. Okay, one way to check if a file is a Python file is, I'm not going to use if, sorry for that, py in file name, right? Py in file name. What did I do wrong? Oh, sorry. I took this string later. Sorry. It was checking whether py is in the string file name, not variable file name. Okay. So yeah, there are better ways to check it, but just to show it how it can be used, it's whether this string is part of this string or not. Okay. And again, it returns a true or false. And we have a special not in operator as well. I'll show this, which returns the negative of whatever would be returned by n. So read it like English, right? Read these things as English. For Python, that is the mantra. Read those things as English. So Ishan not in this string. That is true. Okay. HTML not in. HTML is in this string. So HTML not in this string should be false, because HTML is there in that string. Okay. So yeah. Okay. And we've done comparison operators. Remember bool values, they return boolean values. I'll pause for questions. We have around like 30 minutes left, 30-40 minutes left. I'll pause for questions. If anyone has any questions. Lalita, membership operators in and not in. Yes, in and not in are also called membership operators. But you can make it so that they are not membership operators for your own classes or objects. So you can change the behavior of those operators. 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you want to print from second last to fifth last. Alright, we can take this up, Amit. We have a string that I'll name S. You want to print from second last to fifth last. Okay, from second last to fifth last. That's what you want to do. Second last till fifth last. Start from the second last and go. How do I do that? Let me just think about it. Okay, for just a second. First, I'll just is 8, and then I want to go backwards. All right, -5. Also, I have to also give a negative step. I think. Yeah. For this, I have to give a negative step. For your. Yeah, Lalita, you can unmute yourself if you want to. Just ask in the chat.
Yeah, Lalita, you can unmute your mic. We can have a conversation also. Yeah, sure. So what is your question, Lalita? Mic not connected. Okay, no issues. You can type them. No issues. Yeah, please keep it interactive. You know, that is will give more energy to the speakers. You know, like otherwise after lunch, like even I feel sleepy. Like. Lalita, you can type in whatever you want to ask.
Till Lalita is starting, if anyone has any questions, we are like pausing for 2-3 minutes, so feel free to ask. I mean, we have covered a lot of things after lunch.
Okay.
In a class the other day, if true cases are evaluated as against false. Okay, so I think I get your question. So this is a true value, this is a false value. What you are saying is not true. Is that correct? So I don't think I mentioned the not operator, but there is a not operator in Python which reverses the Boolean value. So if it's true, not true would return false. If it's false, not true would return not false would return true. Is that the question, Lalita? Particularly in if-else statements. Yeah, so an if-else statement doesn't make a difference, right? This evaluates to true, so that is what if statement will check. Whatever the value evaluates to in the end, it will check that if it's truthy or falsy. Doesn't matter if you use not operator or use a different kind of Boolean way to specify that logic. It's in the end, if it's evaluates to true, it will go inside if. If not, it will skip that if. Does that answer your question? A parameter in function argument was given a value false, but it's still evaluated for true. Okay, that shouldn't happen. I mean, if that is Python.
Can you get the code snippet, Lalita? Can you write the code snippet? That would be very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, share it. Do share. Let's try to see what it is. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other questions? So Sachin sir, it will be very helpful. Like, is everyone who is participating? They all from the same faculty, different faculties, you can have
So
some use cases.
people are from different backgrounds. Some are from electronics, some from commerce, some computer science.
Okay.
So we have a variety of participants here.
Okay. So Ishan, keep that in mind. You can have different use cases based on their domains also. Yeah.
All right.
Like,
That would help in like tomorrow's session for classes.
yeah, especially when electronics, yes, IoT data collections, like a lot of things are happening around there. Yeah.
So I mean Python is used everywhere, right? For
Yeah, yeah,
electronics, you have MicroPython.
yeah. Anybody from biology? Yeah. Bioinformatics, biology. Sachin sir, anyone? No. Okay.
So we have 30
There are
minutes.
people from chemistry background here. I think,
Chemistry. Okay.
yeah, chemistry and biochemistry as well, I guess.
Okay. Nice. And there are a lot of applications there also in DNA and bioinformatics. I remember in JNU, we were using Python for data analysis on literally tons of data, right? Like that was so useful. So Lalita ma'am, can you just share the piece of code if you can?
So
Okay.
we have 30 minutes left, and I have all the collections, all the data structures to cover. So
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
so
Continue.
flow that when I go get back to it, I'll just check it out and reply. Okay. Uh, okay. Let's get back to flow control. So till now we've been using very basic Python syntax and single line statements, and in itself, I mean, single line statements are not that much useful. To build complex pieces of logic, you would combine them using some conditions and some flow control, wherein if this condition is true, you want to do something. If this is false, you want to do something else. And if there is an error, you want to do another thing. So those things come under flow control. So flow control is how you piece together the pieces of logic that you have to bring out a cohesive to solve a cohesive problem, to solve a problem cohesively, I would say. And so yeah, in Python, for flow control we have various statements. The most basic statement is an if statement, right? So how does an if statement look like in Python? I'll just switch my interpreter to a different one. This is the IPython interpreter. This is what is running on the back end of Jupyter Lab. It basically provides nice syntax highlighting and autocomplete features inside the terminal. So yeah, like I said, these are comparison operators, right? 5 is greater than 23 is false. What do I do with this false? Right? It's not useful in it itself. So one example of what a very simple flow statement that I can give is, I ask the user for an age, right? Enter your age. By the way, I'm also showing the input function here that you can use to ask user for interactive input. I'll just show how it looks. I hope its terminal font size is good. Enter your age. Alright. And press enter. It gives me a prompt. Okay. Whatever I entered in the string, it presents me with that prompt, and now it's waiting for me to type something. So I can type my age is 22. what that did was that what I typed the input function took that value and assigned it to the age variable. So if I type age is now 22 string. Okay? And I want to convert it into an int, so I can do this. Right? By the way, this the thing that I'm doing is I'm using the same name on the same line. It's okay for small statements like this, but I would not recommend it for if you are writing larger pieces of Python code to reuse the same variable on the right side and the left side of the assignment. Right? It's fine if because we are just playing with the stuff and now type of age is an int. Okay. So what I can do is I can ask questions and I can answer questions based on my age. So for example, I can ask a question, am I eligible to vote? So how do you frame that question? You frame that question, if your age is 18, then you are eligible to vote. If your age is less than 18, you are not eligible to vote, right? Age greater than or equal to 18, you are eligible, right? So what I want to do is I want to print a message on the screen. If I am eligible to vote, it should show me that I am eligible to vote, right? So I took the age as an input from the user. What I can do is I can use an if statement. What I can do is if my age is greater than or equal to 18, notice the syntax here, right? I'll explain the syntax in a bit. I want to print eligible to vote. Sorry for the typo, eligible to vote, right? Else I want to print you are not eligible. Okay. So couple of things to note about the syntax. First of all, there are no parentheses around the condition. People coming from C background might remember this. If and I'm not like creating the main function as such, but you get the point, right? If age is greater than equal to 18, then you have printf, assuming you have included stdio.h. People who are C programmers might know, eligible to vote. Okay. So notice a couple of differences between this syntax and this syntax. Right. First of all, conditions, what you write after the if statement don't have parentheses around them. Right. They are cleaner. They are more readable. Second, you don't have braces. Okay. You have colon and you have indentation. So this is the part where we start to worry about indentation. So anyone wanted to say something?
Yeah. And the code is so readable, right? Like indentation
Yes.
is something because of which the code becomes readable. And in the beginning of this today in the morning I told you, right? In Python, when you write, you can write. Everyone will write in the same way. Perl we used to write in a single line also, whole of it, and it will still execute. But here I cannot. It will not take it. The interpreter will not accept it. Yeah. You are forced to write like this, so that everyone writes like this code. So that's a very beautiful thing I liked about Python. The discipline you get into writing code and reading code. Even after years you read, it will be like simple English, and when the code block ends, when the code block begins, and all that. Yeah. Yep.
So in Python, indentation is part of the syntax. Okay. In languages like C, I can omit this. I can just, like Satya said, I can, of course I have to add semicolon. I can do this and this is valid C. Alright. assuming it's in a main function and all. This is valid C, right? So there are n number of ways you have to format your code, and people get into formatting wars and such. But yeah, Python indentation is part of the Python syntax, and you have to add indentation to demarcate that you're starting a new block.
Alright. Tell them the difference between the tabs and the spaces also, because yeah.
How do I tell that?
Like people don't know, right? Like four spaces or one tab.
So my editor is configured to when I press tab, my editor is configured to add 4 spaces. I don't use tabs in my code, right? These are 4 spaces that I'm adding. So the problem with tabs is with indentation is that tab on my machine might be 4 spaces, but tab on your machine might be 8 spaces. So the code might look very differently on your machine than it is on my machine. Whereas if it's 4 spaces, it's 4 spaces everywhere. That is the gist of it. Is that right, Satya?
Yeah. So the way our editors are configured is use one tab as 4 spaces also, right?
Yeah. That is an editor configuration, yeah.
Okay.
Alright. So yeah, going back to the if statement, this is the condition that we are checking against. So remember, we did comparison operators before this, right? And I explicitly asked, remember that they return Boolean values. So what this is actually an expression. This part of the if statement is an expression that evaluates to true or false depending on the age. Okay, this we did above. So it could evaluate to false depending on the condition, it could evaluate to true. So this is an expression. Okay, remember this. The if statement, the condition of an if statement is an expression. So this, since age is 22 and it's greater than equal to 18, this will evaluate to true. Okay, and true is a truthy value because true is always truthy. This will go inside the if statement. So for people who are new to programming, if statements are a way to make your code or the code that you run dependent on a particular condition. So you say that if this condition is true, I want this thing to happen. If something else is true, I want this thing to happen, right? So this is how you introduce branches in your code, right? So different flows altogether, right? So this is how you do that using if statements in Python. Also note that accompanying an if is an else statement, right? It has a similar syntax, but else, the difference is else has no condition. Okay, so the thing to remember is that if you have an else with an if, alone if, if the condition is true, if block will execute, otherwise else block will execute. Okay, so it's literally like if this or else. Okay, remember, if this or else. So since my age is greater than 18, I'll press enter again. It prints that you are eligible to vote, right? What if I set the age to 10? Assume that user input the number 10 here, right? So again, I press enter. What do you think should happen? Just a quick poll. What do you think should happen? Type in the chat till I switch my tabs. You can type in the chat. What should happen? New version of Python do auto indentation. Lalita, I don't think that is true. Newer versions of Python, that auto indentation is part of your editor, not part of the Python language. So Python doesn't care, I mean actually Python does care about indentation, but it will just outright refuse if indentation is not correct. It will not correct things for you. For those things you use formatters like black or uh, any other n formatters that you have in Python. I'm waiting for an answer right here, right? Age is 10. What should be the output? Age is 10. What should be the output? What should be printed on the screen? Again, read it like English. Read it very like English. I mean, yeah. You are not eligible. You are not eligible. All right. Yeah, that's correct. It will print you are not eligible, right? So these things, these if statements introduce flow control. These are the basic these are the most basic flow controls in a Python program. All right. There are some other forms of if as well, which I'll show you here, and so again, if so, assume the alright, so what I'll do is if age is greater than 10, right? Not this. I would need to introduce and or. Okay. Let's try. Might not work. I'm doing a different check right now. Okay. It's not related to voting. This is very bad putting actually. You shouldn't check things like this. There are better ways to do it. But just to give an example, I'm just doing it here. You are 12 years old. What did I do? Oh, I missed a syntax. So see, you can see it helpfully gave me a syntax error, and it even told me where the error is. Right? This is very, very useful in a long script. So what if you wanted to check more than one condition, right? With if else, you only have one condition to check, right? What if you wanted, if your age is 12, you want something to happen. If your age is 18, you want something else to happen. If it's 20, you want something else to happen. So this is how you do it in Python. If your age is, notice the statement elif, right? If elif, print you are 18 years old. Right? Elif age equals 20. These are just some numbers that I'm making up. Doesn't matter. There's no logic here. 20 years old. Okay. Then else. Alright. So notice one thing. Our if statement is similar. We have the keyword if. By the way, these are keywords. If, elif, else are keywords in Python. What that means is you can't use these as variable names in your script or interpretive session. Alright? You can't have a variable named if. You can't have a variable named elif. So this is an if statement. This is the expression. This is the condition that is checked. So if our age is equals to 12, I'm going to print this. What this statement means is, else if my age is 18, I'll print you are 18 years old. Else if my age is 12, print you are 12 years old. So this else is either or, right? If this or else. This gives us more branches. This gives us more options to have more things done depending on what the value of age is, right? So in the end, I just print I don't know your age, right? So how it executes is, we'll just see what was the current age that we had. So last time the age we had was 10. So first what it will do is, it will compare with if. Is 10 equals to 12? Of course it's not. Then it will compare it with the next elif. Is 10 equals to 18? Of course not. Then it will compare it to next elif. Of course it's not 20. Then, since nothing matched before it, it will come to the else statement, right? And it will print I don't know your age. Okay. Let me just set age to 12. Again, same if statement. Now, first it will check is 12 equals to 12. Remember, this is the equality check. This is the equality operator, equality check testing operator. So is 12 equals to 12? Then it will print you are 12. When it does it, when it goes in a block, in a branch, it skips all the other branches. This is what you have to remember. This is what is important about if, elif, else statements. If it goes in one of them, it skips the others. Alright? It's like I got a match, I am done now, I don't need anything else. It's like that. Okay? So since it's 12, it will match with 12, you are 12 years old. I'll set age to 18. Okay? And now you'll see that it will try to match it here. Is my age 12? No, it's not. It's 18, right? So is my age 12? Yeah, it's 12. So it will match this block. It will execute this. Rest all will be skipped. Alright? Remember, it's only one. Only one of the branches will execute. So I do this again. You are 18 years old. Again, I do this with 80. I do this with 20. Again, same thing. Match with first. Doesn't match. Match with elif. Doesn't match. Match with another elif. It matches. Go in the block. I don't care about anything else. Okay? You're 20 years old. What about 80? Right? According to our logic, it will match with 12. No. Doesn't match. 18. Doesn't match. 20. Doesn't match. Since it didn't match with anything, the else part will match. Right? So at least one. Let me correct myself. At most one branch will execute in an if, elif, else statement. At most one. Okay? At most one, that wouldn't be correct. One branch would definitely execute. Either it's the if or one of elifs or it's the else. Right? Either one of them will execute. Any question or confusion till here, right? We are nearing to the end. Any question till here? Alright, I'll assume that as no questions. Yeah. So like I said, you can have if else statements. You can have lone ifs as well. If without an else. Let's see what the age is currently. Age is 80. If age is, let's write condition, if age is greater than 75, print you are a senior citizen. Alright? Senior citizen. Okay? So, notice that in this statement we don't have an else part. Right? So, if this condition is true, if age is greater than 75, this statement will run, else this if part will be skipped. Okay? Since it doesn't have an else part, this will be skipped. If it had an else part, else. you are not a senior person. Let's just go with it. You are not a right. So let me just set the age to something like 60, which is less than our threshold. This would execute you are not a senior person, right? Because it has an else, either one of them will execute. We can also have lone ifs, in which case if the condition doesn't evaluate to true, that part will be skipped. Alright? Yeah. So, sir, if we did not use else in the last body, then there will be no output. Yeah, Amit. So, if there is a single if without an else, so let's say age. What is age? Age is 60, right? Let me go back to this part. So, our condition is if age is greater than 75, it will print you are a senior citizen. Okay? Age is 60. So, this condition is false. 60 is not greater than 75. So, this whole if part will be skipped and nothing will be printed. Alright? Skip the parenthesis. Yeah. Nothing will be printed. Right? Alright. Satya, I think this is what we can cover today.
Yeah, Ishan, I also need 5 minutes today because I have to tell about the LMS that they'll be using during the class.
Okay.
If you're
Satya,
done, then please let me know, Satya.
Sure. We can talk about it. We can share the screen and discuss. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, before I begin with my thing, let me first thank our speakers, Mr. Satyakam and Mr. Ishan, for the wonderful session and the way they were delivering the content. Like, you have taken the things to very basics and then you started like building up the whole thing. So it was indeed a wonderful experience for me and I guess for participants as well. So I'd like to share my screen. So I hope my screen is visible. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So, guys, I request all the participants to pay some attention because this is important. So, during the whole course of action, you are supposed to access this learning management system. There will be accessing all the videos that will upload and all the assignment and quizzes. Everything will be here, right? So, I've already created your username and passwords on this particular portal. So, just note down the steps that I'm telling. First, you need to type in the inside the browser lms.arsd.ac.in. Right? You just need to type in and press enter. So you'll reach this page. Once reaching this page, you just need to click on the
Paste
login.
in the chat window, Sachin. That would be.
I can copy that. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just drop it in the chat box.
So do we have IDs for us also, or what? How does it work?
No, it's not created for you. I'll be creating for you if you want to contribute to the course. So I'll be creating your credentials.
Okay.
Right. So this is
that will be very helpful. We can
absolutely.
give the assignments there itself, right, Ishan? Then we can evaluate individually.
Oh, wonderful. Then I'll be creating your credentials today itself.
So is it an instance of edX or something?
No, it's instance of Moodle.
Moodle. Okay.
Moodle. Okay.
Yeah.
So after reaching this page, you need to click on the login button, right? And for all the participants, I have created your login something like, so you have used some email ID to register for this particular course. So I've taken the initial part before the add part of your email ID. Like the first email ID is Jyoti2681986. So I've taken this part only, not the add Gmail part, right? So that's your user ID. And for the password, so let's try to log in with this email ID only. So I'll take this part. So I'll just remove the add part from here. And now let's the password. Password is I've taken a default password for everyone. So the moment you make your first login, you need to update your password. You need to change your password, right? So for default password is capital USER user @123. Right. So I'm typing this password in the chat box because it's a default one. But at very first login, you need to update your password, right? So this is the portal. I'll just drop it in the chat box. This is the portal, and 123. This is the password that I'm using, and first part of your email address is the user ID. Right. So let's go and hit the login button. So the moment I hit the login button, I just get this view. And after getting this view, I can see that there is a course named Advanced Python Programming for All, right? So I need to click on this course, and here I can see this content because I've already enrolled many of the users, around 55 users I've already enrolled in this course. So those who are enrolled is good. Those who are not able to access the course, they can contact me anytime or they can post their queries on the group. I'll enroll them, right? So after going on to this, you can see that there are already sections made on this like video session 1, video session 2, video session 3 and the assignment. So day-wise content will be uploaded on this particular portal only and you can access it here. So this I was supposed to tell you, and later on also I'll be adding things here and I'll be updating you about the things that I need to. If anyone is having any query regarding this, can ask. Okay, some users are saying mine is not showing. Ma'am, can you please turn on your mic and say what's the problem you are facing? Okay, right. So you just drop a message on the WhatsApp group, and I'll see whether your user is created or not. Just type in your name, email ID. Just two things I need.
Okay, sir, I'll do that. Actually, I have logged in with the password you gave and it's not showing. No course is there.
It's not showing course. Right. So you just need to scroll down to the bottom of it. Like just go to home. Just go to after login in, just go to home and just scroll down. So after you scrolling down, at the bottom of it, you have a course name FDP. Just click on that if you will look at it.
Okay, I'm trying.
Is the FDP visible to you?
Yeah, FDP is visible to me.
So just click on this one.
Yes.
Then you will see this course. So maybe there must be some like key and log kind of thing will be looking. You can look at the key and log, something like that.
Yes, it is showing in enrollment key.
So you can type in the enrollment key that I'm giving you. So enrollment key is E-FDP Python. This is the key. And then I hope you are able to enroll into the course.
All in small letters?
Yeah, all in small letters.
FDP. It is showing incorrect. So let me check it.
I'll handle this. You just drop me a message on the WhatsApp group with your name and email ID, just two things.
Okay.
So I guess we can stop for the day if no one is having any query regarding the course, because this I'll handle, the enrollment part I'll handle. If there is any other query, you can ask.
Yeah, any assignments, Ishan, you have?
No, Satya, I would like need some time to prepare an assignment.
Okay, and on operator I think we can give that simple things, no? Like what we have in the document.
So like Satya, that can be a part of assignment. So you just share the things with me. I'll add it to the either the LMS or I'll create your user and you can
start writing the code now, like what we have discussed in the document, like calculate the area of a triangle, Celsius to Fahrenheit, simple
absolutely,
things like that.
I'll do that.
Line number checker.
I guess so we can close for the day, I guess.
So if you check
So
the documentation,
हाँ
उसमें देखना आप factorial calculator, sum and average and all that, you know.
हाँ I can see that. I've seen that.
Yeah. So
So वही
you have access to that also, Sachin sir.
yeah, I know I have access to that. So once again, I'd like to thank our speakers and the wonderful audience that there the whole day, right? So see you tomorrow.
Yeah, and Sachin sir, you